There we are. All right, we are recording. Hello, everybody. My name is Gavin Kerr. Welcome to another episode of Between the Notes. And today we have Sonia Anubis. How are you doing today?
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm doing good. It's a
Absolutely.
sunny day today, so I'm good.
Wonderful. I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear. You are the lead guitarist of the band Crypta. Is that correct?
That's right.
Wonderful. And then you've been in a couple bands before that, so I want to jump right into it. Tell us about your musical journey, about starting up, learning your self-taught music, right? Bass?
Yes, so it all
Yeah.
started actually as a bass player back when I was 14 years old, and I was very hugely inspired by Kiss.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of how it went. From there, it only became heavier and heavier. I discovered thrash metal existed and death metal and then black metal, and it started really getting like very extreme metal. And yeah, from there, I also discovered that I also wanted to play guitar aside of being a bass player. And yeah, that's what I eventually taught myself to play. Even though I've always been more of a bass player, later on when I joined a heavy metal band named Burning Witches, I started taking guitar a little bit more seriously. And from that point, I have been more of a guitarist than a bass player, even though there was not like a particular reason for it.
Yeah. Did you find that picking up the guitar was a bit easier once you had a good understanding for how to play bass, or did you find some of the techniques? I'm not sure because there's a lot of ways to play bass. You can slap, you can finger pick, you can
Yeah.
do both. Some people do use an actual pick, but I've also been told that that is also illegal in the bass world. So how was that transition from bass to guitar?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. I always considered myself more of a bass player in the beginning because I
Yeah.
only played bass in bands. I only had performed as a bass player, so I was very used to being, the fingering bass player. That if I had a pick in my hand, I say, how the hell do you hold this thing?
Yeah.
So the transition as was, I think, a little bit more smoother than someone that has never touched a guitar, because definitely you have the frets. That's it's not the same, but it's similar to the idea of the bass guitar.
Yeah.
And aside of that, I've always been someone that learns by ear, meaning that I can hear something and I'm very aware if I'm like playing it wrong or playing it right. And
Yeah.
maybe that made the process of learning the guitar a little bit easier for me. Before I discovered any kind of extreme music or Kiss at all, I used to play the transverse flute. I'm not sure if that's the right word. It's like a flute that you play like this. And I've been, yeah, it's like,
I'm not sure about. I'm not very savvy when it comes to
yeah,
woodwind instruments, but yeah, it's a flute. I understand what you
it's a,
mean.
it's a metal flute,
Yeah.
and it's used in orchestral music. And
Yes.
I was classically schooled with that, even though I always hated to read the
Sheet music.
papers, sheet music. It's always was boring because I can already hear it. And I thought,
Yeah.
I can already trust my ear on this. Why should I learn from the sheet if I can just hear it and play it? For me, that was a lot easier. And that's why I kind of stopped doing that, because it was just very unmotivating every time.
Yeah.
And before, I also been in a church choir when I was a kid. And I also realized, kids always had to see those notes, and I didn't want to do it because I thought that it was a lot faster to do by ear. And I think that gave me a little bit of an advantage of being able to catch up on melody very much faster.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. That's I feel like that is a skill that people have to be almost naturally born with. That natural ear for music to be able to hear what key something is in. And I understand that because Erica, are you pitch perfect?
I'm not sure if I am. I think I'm pretty like good at like
So pitch perfect would
hearing.
be like me talking right now, you would be able to tell me what notes my voice is currently at. That's what like pitch perfect is. And it's like a very like elite form of musical ear.
I'm not sure if I have that, even though I can like hear something and directly replicate it if I hear
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But I cannot say what notes there are inside. I cannot say it's a C sharp or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
but I can hear if you give me a reference of what is the first note, and you give me other ones coming after. I could give you like, okay, this is a half step away from that one, or I can kind of hear that kind of stuff, or I can replicate it. For
No,
me,
I
replicating is easier because there's less theory behind it. It's just me replicating the sound of what you just said.
Absolutely. That's the same issue that
I
that
know
I
it
have.
sounds
Like,
very weird, and
no, I
there's
completely.
not
That's
like
why
a
I'm asking.
theoretical reason because of it. I never really knew how it was because I saw everyone always reading from the sheets, and I was like, "Am I the only one who's just doing it by feeling?" But yeah, I don't know. I do have facility with hearing stuff, but
Well, that's how that's why I asked, because that's how I play. Like, when my sister and I play guitar together, she will be playing whatever she happens to be playing, and I just automatically know where it is on the guitar. I could now, if you're
right,
asking me what notes am I playing, I could never tell you. I could be like,
exactly.
I'm playing the one that sounds like this, ding, like that's
Yeah,
completely. Or
and
when I sang in choir, at first I couldn't read sheet music, so
yeah.
I would just listen to what everybody else was singing and just mirror that back. And then eventually I learned how to read everything, and I was like, all right, this is pretty much it. But I still never, like, if you handed me a piece of sheet music right now,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
would look at it. I wouldn't know what I was really doing on it. But if you gave me that first note, then I'd be able to find everything else just fine on it.
exactly. I have
Yeah.
that too. And as when for my lessons right now, I give some guitar lessons to students. I do have put myself a little bit into the theory. How is it? And it made sense a lot of in the things that made sense abstractly in my head. Suddenly have a certain reason in theory, and that opens a lot of doors.
Yeah.
And it's always good to get deeper into the actual theory of stuff to understand why it's making sense in a certain way. But it's I do actually agree with you if you could like play a sound and you can directly find it. Or what I also have sometimes is like I hear a melody and I can directly find like the harmonization to it,
Yes.
but I have no idea how that's possible. I wish I
Yeah.
knew.
It's just something that clicks in your head, you know? It's like you just understand it. You can't describe it, but it's just so deeply ingrained in your mind that you're able to just let it out there. It's truly amazing. It's a beautiful skill, and from what I've heard from listening to you play, you do it tremendously. Like,
Thank you so much.
you're an insane guitar player. And when I first listened to Crypta, right off the bat, I knew that it was death metal. I knew that you guys had that distinct sound, which is awesome because I know a lot of bands who identify as death metal or thrash metal or whatever, but they're not. They're a combination of a bunch of other things that ironically happen, none of which are what they say they are. So how did you sort of get this transition? Walk me through. You said you were in Burning Witches beforehand. Walk me through this life of bands that you've been in and how you've sort of created your own sound and added it to the bands.
Sure. So it all started when I was around 15 or 16 years old when I think I joined my first band.
Yeah.
Well, my first actual band that really was like a real band. I don't know
Yeah.
what to say. Because I've jammed before, but it wasn't like a real band. The first band was Dimension, in which was also death metal band. It was melodic death metal. We played just very local shows. It gave me like a first chance to feel how it is to be on stage. Later on, I've also joined a band named Ecocide, Shade of Hatred, Sephiroth, a whole list of some local death metal acts here in the Netherlands. I got the chance to play, sometimes in Germany, sometimes in Belgium, but not more than that, to really, spread my name a little bit as a bass
Yeah.
player. And besides of that, I was always recording a lot of guitar videos on internet just for fun. It was just like, oh, guitar is just my hobby thing, and bass is really the thing that I'm committed to. And my videos actually got me somewhere. I saw that more people were looking at that stuff, and I was kind of mesmerized because guitar was kind of the number two instrument for me. And then I thought, okay, maybe I should really take this seriously. And I put a request out that I'm looking for a band, which really I had a hard time finding a right band for myself, even though I got to join like a band for a month or something. And then I directly got asked for Burning Witches, which was like very big thing, because being mainly a bass player and not very much of a guitarist, I gotta say, it was like, whoa, can I do this? Am I like good enough to take this chance? But I went for it. I had to learn the set list super fast, like in a week, and then fly to Switzerland and have the audition with them. And yeah, we had the audition, and it was luckily successful. And yeah, that's how I got to join Burning Witches, which is a heavy metal band in Switzerland. And I've been in this band for around 3 years, 2.5 years, something
Yeah.
like this. I'm not exactly sure. And then yeah, I've played a lot, like worldwide with this band. We've toured, released two full lengths and an EP with them. And yeah, then I a year ago I decided to leave Burning Witches, certainly because I wanted to focus more on my own two bands that I was starting already a while ago. And these were Cobra Spell and Crypta, which are my current bands right now.
Wow.
And as guitarist.
Yes, yes, you said that you so casually said, "Yeah, I just got on a plane and flew to Switzerland to join this band." So I'm assuming when you start out with these bands, you're not making a whole bunch of money. Anybody who is a musician or an artist of any kind, they know that you start out, you're not in it for the money. You're in it for the pure passion, the love of it, and that all the fame that comes later down the road. So what are you
Yeah.
doing? What do you do in the meantime, or what were you doing in the meantime as work while you're also being a rock star?
Well, you know, it's indeed what you say. It's very hard in the beginning as musician
Yeah.
because you don't earn anything, and I've done it since, you know, one. I just started earning since 1 year ago. It's
Yeah.
like it's been really like tied, and it was always pay more than you actually earn as a musician. I was always have to travel a lot to the rehearsals, pay for that, and it was kind. You know, I didn't do it for the money. Right? I always done it
Yeah.
for the passioning because I wanted to get out there, and I eventually thought that ever in my life I will become successful in some kind of way, make a living, hopefully out of it. And that's luckily is starting to happen, even though it's, you know, I don't know. Yeah, it just goes how it is, as it is. Um, yeah, what was the question? Sorry.
What were you doing for income?
Aha, yeah. So 1 year ago, I used to be a web developer. I've had a career. I've studied as a front end developer, and yeah, that means coding and making
Yeah.
websites and stuff. And yeah, I had to actually make a choice on what was more important for me, either music or keep on working and doing music as a side. And so actually, I really need to like make the step and commit fully to music. And Corona was just getting started, and I thought, oh,
Yeah.
maybe it's too tricky, you know, maybe it's going to be a hard choice to do. But actually, it's been the best choice that I've ever done. And I feel like I have so much more time to focus and becoming better on my craft and just delivering more. And I'm very happy that I did it, even though I'm not doing web development anymore. Just sometimes for my bands, I can build the websites and stuff, but
Yeah.
that's all.
That's awesome. And that's a really great skill to know, especially in this age, in all honesty, where everybody, if you have a business, if you have a brand, you have something, then you're expected to have a website and business cards and all that. It's an expectation at this point. It's like having a phone number.
Yeah.
Um, so that's what you did in your meantime. You did Burning Witches, and now you are in Crypta. You've only had this band since 2019, and you guys have already blown up. I've seen you're signed with a record label. You have hundreds of thousands of views on everything. Like, what happened? What gold mine did you find to create this amazing band that not only sounds great, has a kick-ass look, but is actually successful and has caught all this attention?
Well, I think it's just you know, the lineup is created overall by musicians that already had experience before in music. You know, Fernanda
Yeah.
and Luana had a very like long career with Nervosa, their previous band, and they have like they're renowned in the scene, and
Yeah.
people know about them, and they have an amazing discography on their names. So they already have a following.
Gotcha.
You know, Taina is an extremely talented guitarist, and for her, it's like the first band that is like big and stuff. For me, I had like the Burning Witches stuff that was going on in the past, so I think that also is part of it. We all had like already a little bit of experience with our bands, and we wanted to create like the band that does everything right on our ways, in which we can, you know, be fully ourselves. And this
Yeah.
was going to be Crypta, and I think the combination of, you know, 100% authenticity from us and 100% dedication and everything that we wanted to put like to make it right and to have like what we wanted was part of why Crypta is now becoming the band that it's going to become. I don't know if that's a good reason, but aside of having the signing the label, the reason was because Fernanda already had contact with them. They have a friendship going on, so she could just like hit him up and say like, hey, we are working on this project, maybe you're interested. We show them the demos and they seemed like very excited about it, and they offered us a deal that was very interesting to us and that was working for us as a new band, and that's very rare for a band that hasn't released anything.
Yeah.
So we we had everything on our favor, and people were very enthusiastic from the beginning, and I definitely wasn't expecting that much excitement. But it's going like crazy, and I'm very happy that people are liking it for sure.
No, it's almost like a movie in a sense. Like you got all your friends together, you had all been in bands before, you knew what you were doing, and then you just got discovered and you said, "Yeah, let's do it." You didn't have to deal with the window shopping and the haggling and this and that. Like it's like a fantasy almost. It's amazing how this has worked out for you. Where do you see it going next? What do you see the next steps are for Crypta?
Well, definitely for us, we see this just as the beginning. We have endless dreams that we want to make reality. One of them is already gonna become reality. We have all dreamed about playing Wacken, and recently, like not even after releasing the album, before releasing the album, we got the chance that we can play Wacken, which is a very, very big festival, and this is already gonna happen. And it's like, wow, it's going. Sometimes it's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
When it's just starting. So there's a lot of stuff that we are planning on doing. After the release of the album, we definitely want to tour around the world. We're already booking a lot of stuff. We already have a Europe tour announced. Hopefully we're gonna have a United States tour.
Yes.
Next year.
Let me know when you come to the States. I want to come see you. And then I was listening to you in the car with a friend of mine, and she lost her mind when she heard you guys. She's like, "Is that a girl singing?" I was like, "Yeah, they're an all-female band." She's like, "They're fucking amazing." I was like, "I know."
Hell yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. So definitely we'll be looking for some United States tours. Let me know if you're in the States, and then how I get tickets and how I come to the show, because I would absolutely love to come see you guys.
Cool. That's for me like a dream. I've never toured the United States with any of my bands, so that would be like a new challenge that I'm waiting to happen. So I think that's definitely one of the achievements that we still have to get.
Do you have a specific place in the U.S. in mind that you want to play?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Fair enough.
I would love to visit. Los Angeles, New York, and the big cities. But you guys are probably, we have already been there. For me, it's like, I would love to come.
One thing I'll tell you: come to Cleveland, please. Come to Cleveland. We have such a huge music scene here, and
Cool.
we have a very big, very rich music scene here in Cleveland, Ohio. But for whatever reason, we don't have a lot of shows here. A lot of shows they usually take out in like Columbus or somewhere else, like 2-3 hours away from us.
Damn.
Come to Cleveland.
That's far. Far.
Come rock this city to the ground. Like we would love that. We'd appreciate that.
To find a way.
Yes. So you started out listening to Kiss as a kid, and now you're playing death metal. I understand that, Kiss back in the day was considered heavy metal, and now it's strangely considered classic rock, which is weird to think about. But how'd you get into this transition? Was it like, in my mind, it was almost like a drug where you found something and then you found something heavier and you're like, "Oh, I need something heavier," and just kept going. Like, what was your transition of music to get from Kiss to death metal?
Well, honestly, it was very natural. This was not like, and this and that. I just, most of the people back in the days, they used to discover because a friend was playing it or something, or they happened to hear it on the radio. For me, it worked in the way that we have YouTube these days. So I search a band on YouTube, and then I find the recommendations from from Kiss I went to Alice Cooper, and Alice Cooper is considered like shock rock, and then you get Wasp, which is also shock rock, but then closer to the heavy metal side, and then you every time it builds up a little bit more, then you get to Metallica, and Metallica is one of the big four thrash metal, and then thrash metal gets deeper and deeper. You get to Exodus, and then it just gets heavier and heavier, and then you realize, actually, whoa, this is so heavy. Can I really listen? Is this like real music? And then you listen it 3 times and you're used to it. And like, oh, it's actually pretty good. You know, and that's kind of how it goes. But I've never really left my roots. I still listen a lot to Kiss, a lot of hard rock lately. Actually, I make a lot of guitar videos playing that stuff. And I'm also in an 80s heavy metal band named Cobra Spell, which is like my other band.
Yeah.
And I write a lot of this 80s stuff there because I just really love the nostalgic feeling that it gives you. And it's also what kind of got me into music. And aside of that, I like to, play death metal with Crypta because it's refreshing for me. I don't know. I just, if I could, I would start a band for every single genre that I feel, but it's not much of a good idea.
Well, I'd imagine too that doing these different genres also keeps you fresh in the writing process. If you start to get stuck on one thing, it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to go and play over here then for a little bit, and then I'll come back to this. You have all these new fresh ideas and sounds. Like I know when I'm writing music, I could be writing for the same project, but listening to 8 different genres because I know what feeling I want to get into the songs, and I need inspiration from other music to get that.
Right, and you can learn a lot about different styles of music, about techniques that are used in certain genres. As in heavy metal back in the 80s, this arena rock oriented songs, they always had a certain structure of songwriting. And I was really looking into that, and I'm very interested in how people do that kind of stuff. And I thought, okay, maybe I can implement that in a death metal song. What would you get if you implement a structure that was used back then on a death metal song? And it happened to work out very well.
Yeah.
So, this kind of things are very interesting to work on, or add a thrash metal section in a death metal song. And, I love doing that stuff.
So are you the sole writer of the music then, or how does the writing process go for Crypta?
For Crypta, it's actually pretty like teamwork. In the album Echoes of the Soul, that one that is coming out, was mostly written by myself, Luana, and Fernanda. Since we started as a 3-piece, and later on Taina joined in, we already had some songs written together. Our process is, we do everything on distance since we live very far away from each other. The 3 girls are living in Brazil, also very far from each other, and I'm living in Amsterdam, which is completely.
Oh my God, you're all over the place.
Yeah, we are so spread out, but we work with the technology of nowadays. So we work with Google Drive, and we add our ideas there. I record my ideas with my amplifier, here at home, and I share them to the group. And hey, what do you think about this? Maybe it goes along with Fernanda's idea. And we all have very different ways of writing. I know Fernanda always comes up with very rhythmic ideas, while Luana always has amazing drum ideas, and myself, I'm more of a melodic writer. I always come up with some melodies or chorus stuff, while Fernanda's really good at verses, and then we can combine stuff together, and then we get something. And and that's kind of how it went. It was very natural. We all have we can feel each other very well when it comes to understanding our ideas and what we can do with it.
So then how do you go about it? Because you've mentioned it, or you've said that you're all over your area. You're all spread out very far. You use Google Drive in order to communicate with each other. And
Google Drive to share our ideas. We communicate with WhatsApp.
Yeah. So you use the technology to communicate with each other, and you all have very different writing processes. How do you work out then putting things together and making sure that they work? Is it just kind of like a slow process of back and forth communication, or are you all getting together on a video chat and having sessions of once or twice a week? What are you doing to make sure that things actually connect?
It definitely requires a lot of communication, a lot of good communication, having often calls together as group calls, and writing things down. And sometimes it's getting hard because it gets too much information on WhatsApp, and then you don't make a sense out of it, and it's like, oh, I don't understand it. But just we ask, we have to ask.
Yeah.
If we don't understand something, we just have to ask, hey, what's up? I don't understand this. And then that's fine. That's how it works. And every time it becomes a little bit easier, because now we have a whole album behind our backs that has been done in this way. So now we find, oh, now we understand each other a little bit better. And aside of that, there's one person that is gonna translate the ideas. For example, there's one person that can only do the guitars in this album. At least I was the one that was translating the ideas on the guitar.
Yeah.
So there are like certain roles in the band, and that makes it a lot easier to know who does something. And we have this for everything. So for example, the one that answers the interviews, the emails of the interviews, there's one person assigned for that, or the one that is doing the web shop, and that makes it a lot easier for us to know what we have to do. And it's a lot easier this way.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's great that you are able to do that communication with one another. How does your YouTube channel have any sort of effect on the band? I'm sure that it definitely brings people there to check it out. Does it affect your writing at all? Because I know you get that sort of, you're able to exercise yourself to do all these different cover songs and anything else that you want to do on your channel. How does that play into your writing?
Well, actually, I'm not very sure, even though I learned from learning all the songs certain techniques that I can implement on my writing. And learning other songs makes me understand how a musician is thinking somehow. Yeah. And that helps me develop more as a musician. I see how many times a chorus is repeated. I see how many times a verse is connected to the pre-chorus, or whatever is happening in a song. You experience that all if you play a certain song, and that I can learn from that. And as for making covers, it pushes you to really perform a certain song very well. And from that, I learned to become, tighter as a musician, and just more all round maybe. Aside of that, releasing videos on YouTube helps me getting out there a little bit more. I see that a lot of people discover the existence of me through YouTube. Yeah. And then they always say, hey, why do you only cover songs? Don't you make your own music? I said, yes, I do.
Yeah, it's over there. Go subscribe to that channel now. You can hear it there. Yeah.
It happens a lot, or some people just know me from the bands, or some know me only from the covers. It's funny. It's like two different kinds of how to say it, followers, kind of.
Yeah, you have your own little worlds, these two little bubbles.
Yeah, but I'm trying to put everything together somehow in the group of this is the thing that I'm doing. But yeah, I can't ask too much.
No, I get that. I've thought about doing a full band cover with Crypta.
Oh, we did it. We did it.
Oh, what did you do?
We released we released it yesterday for the song Dark Night of the Soul. We made a full band playthrough of that. It's also like the official release of that actual track. Yeah. It's a very more melodic death metal song featuring some Middle Eastern sounding melodies, and it's like a very cool playthrough. You can see it on Napalm Records channel on YouTube.
Nice. Yeah, that's a hell of a channel to definitely be on. I'm sure working with them has really helped your guys' success. How did they approach you with that? You brushed a bit on it earlier. They came to you with a deal. You just had your demo. What was like the process like? What were you thinking when they came to you and said, "Hey, we want to sign you, even though you have nothing out"?
Well, Fernanda already had contact with them. She worked together with Napalm Records back when she was in Nervosa. So the contact was there, and we already told them, hey, we're working on this project. We haven't released it yet, but we have some demos that we can show you. Maybe you're interested in having us. And, it's casually happens to be working for them. They had interest in us. The concept worked for them. We got an offer, and we thought that the contract was very, good for us as a starting band. And, we directly just went for it. We changed some things, and that's kind of how it went. It was honestly a big honor, of course, because I know it's not easy to get signed with a band. There's many bands that are fighting for it, to get a chance.
Absolutely.
and definitely get a chance where you have a good contract, but it's always very tricky to get that, because sometimes, you hear a lot of crazy stories of artists getting, um, getting a very bad contract that takes away all the rights, and you don't want that, of course. So we're very lucky with what we have with Napalm Records, and yeah, so I couldn't be any happier. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got this amazing following, both yourself and with your bands. How are you with fans? Like when you go to a show and you get off stage, you're hot, you're sweaty, you're tired. What are you doing? Are you still talking to fans? Are you signing autographs? Like how do you react with fans if people recognize you out in public? If they try to message you online, what's your relationship with the fans? What do you try to do to stay personal but also keep professional boundaries?
Yeah, I honestly love, to meet fans at shows. I always, after the show, I get to the people just to meet them. And a lot of people always have like stuff that want to get it signed, and they want to make a picture. And I just, I love doing that, because I know these people are like waiting for that moment, at least from the people that I've met when I was playing in Burning Witches, which is
Yeah.
already far far away ago. It's an honor that there's people that go so much out of their ways to get to meet you. And I definitely have like some people that are very strong like fans, and that
Yeah.
always come back to the shows, and it really amazes me a lot. I'm always like, do I really deserve this kind of attention?
Yeah.
It's like, whoa. But yeah, as for in the online attention that I get, it's not always positive. It's very mixed. Sometimes people can be very judgmental,
Oh
and there's
yeah.
a lot of people that can be very, very mean. And luckily there's a lot of people that are also very like exciting and happy. And you know I always try to focus on the positive things. Myself, I'm not the kind of type that will react on everything, because it's um, I don't I don't know if it's a good idea to do that, because then everyone would expect me to react on their reactions.
Yeah.
So um, I'm always trying to like find a way to please the fans in a way that I don't know how to explain it, um, to make everyone happy. It's
No,
some
I
kind of way,
understand that. Well,
you know.
then who do you write your music for?
Who do I write my music for?
Yeah,
I
do
don't
you
know.
write it for the fans? Do you write it for yourself and just hope that people enjoy it? Do you write it for like
Oh,
sort
that's a very good question, actually.
yeah,
I've always thought about it like, are you doing this for yourself?
yeah,
I do this for my own dream, because I
good,
have a dream that is, performing and keep on performing my
good.
life. I don't know why. But I don't do it for people, but it makes me happy when people are happy about it. It's
Yeah,
like a fulfillment when I do it, because I love to inspire people and make them happy. And somehow it's one of the reasons why I love performing and being a musician. It's because you get positive energy back from it, and it's very fulfilling and makes you want to continue doing it. Aside of music being like an extremely big passion of me, I just enjoy a lot playing music by artists that I like, and I want to make a change as a musician, also like the legends that I look up to. For example, I love Gene Simmons, I love Yngwie Malmsteen, a lot of amazing musicians,
yeah.
and I hope that I ever can have the same effect that they had on me when I was starting listening to music. And I hope that, maybe it's thinking too much big, but I hope that I can somehow inspire someone in this way, and make someone maybe pick the guitar and do it too, or maybe like go out there and do whatever that makes the person happy. I hope that I have that effect with the music that I make, and that's pretty much it, honestly.
No, no, I love that. It's a really good answer actually. It's something I always like to ask you because there is a really fine line between making music that is true to yourself and that's authentic, and then once you get to a certain level, writing music that you know is going to sell and writing music you know that people are going
Ooh,
to
yeah,
enjoy.
no, if I would make something that's gonna sell, I would be playing pop music for sure, or some kind of rap. I
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah, no, but I play these certain genres because I love the music, and I don't know, I can just lose my own creativity on it. And the
So
fact that there are people that are liking it is just like something that, makes me feel happy that there's people enjoying what I do. from the beginning, I started having not many followers. So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a journey. It takes time to get to
yeah.
where you are at, or where like it takes time to build up that following and make sure that they stay around as well. I'm curious, sort of staying on the writing topic here. How involved are you with writing lyrics?
Lyrics, ooh, good one. With Crypta, I'm not involved. I
No.
I don't. I'm not very good at writing death metal lyrics.
That's fair. They're
I'm not sure.
interesting. They're not like regular lyrics. They tend to be very the syllables tend to be kind of choppy to stay with the heavy beats,
Yeah.
and then the messages tend to be very blunt and straightforward a lot of the
Yeah,
time.
and the lyrics in Crypta, they are very like they're about death, and
Yeah.
I like the whole theme about that this album is about. Even though I'm not able to write stuff about it,
Yeah.
um, even though in my other band Cobra Spell, I do write a lot of lyrics. For the first EP that we had, I have written a little bit. My other guitarist did actually more of it. But in the new album, there are songs that are completely done lyrically by me, and that's something that I took the challenge just to try. Like maybe it works out, Of
Yeah.
course, with some help, with someone that really speaks English fluently, such as the guitarist Sebastian Silva in Cobra Spell. He's an American and he can speak very well English, so he can correct in the things that sound a little bit dorky or sound
Yeah.
a little bit, amateurish, and then he in this way I can still share my message in lyrics. I'm more of a, if I would write lyrics, they have to be a little bit more like sleazy, or like somehow it turns out like that. So I as for death metal, I prefer more to write like the guitar rhythms and everything that's melody. And
Yeah.
as for heavy metal, I think my lyrics are better.
Now, so you mentioned that you have somebody who, when you write lyrics, is a native English speaker to help you out with these kind of oddities that you might not naturally pick up on. Are all the members in your band, or at least Fernanda, who the lead vocalist, do all of you have English as your second language, or is she a native speaker?
Well, all the girls are Portuguese,
Okay.
Brazilian, but they speak Portuguese.
Yeah.
So their first language is Portuguese, even though they all speak very fluent English, which
Yes.
is so awesome because that's one of the reasons why it's working in the band. Communication is very important, and
Yeah.
for me, English is one of my languages. I speak like 4 or 5 languages, I think. I don't know if I can count German as one of them.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yes, I speak Dutch, Spanish, Catalan, and then English and a little bit of German. So it's
Wow.
like almost 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, English is a way that you can communicate, worldwide because it's international language. And
Yeah.
I'm very glad that I can speak it together with my members. And my English is not that bad, but I still make a lot of mistakes when I write, and you can definitely
If it
hear that
makes you feel
I'm
any
not
better,
native.
English speakers make mistakes in English when we write. It's a weird language to write in,
Yeah.
but you speak it absolutely wonderfully. So it's not any of your first language. Well, did you choose to have it be the main language of the band then, because it is the sort of the universal language, the language of business?
And for Crypta, it was like, I think it's up to Fernanda why she chose it, but we are wanted always to be an international band.
Yeah,
It's for us like we didn't even think about it. We already knew, okay, we do it in English. It's like it's like we just do it. And for Cobra Spot it was the same way. We just want to do it in English because it's the international language and more people can understand what's going on. I mean,
yeah.
in Crypta it's gonna be a little bit hard to understand what Fernanda is saying at times.
You need an ear, like you need to have a trained ear to understand
Yeah.
death metal. That is for sure. So writing her with her lyric writing process, since you for Cryptic at least, or Crypta at least, don't write the lyrics, then is there any song that really resonates with you, the lyrics that like really like stick with you?
Oh, definitely. From the Ashes. It's a song about
Yes,
rebirth and about a new start. The ending is.
I have those lyrics ironically on a tab right here. Not ironically, conveniently. The
Yeah.
time has come to depart, and from the scene remove her heart. With a cycle closure that's near, comes self-sacrifice, freed from fear.
Yeah, so it's kind of a metaphor of life. Sometimes you got to leave
Yeah,
behind something that you're close to just because you want something better to start, or it's like the cycle of life. It's
yeah.
full of endings and beginnings, and we were all going through. Sorry for the sound on the background, by the way.
It's
It's like
okay.
a landmower or something's going on there. I don't
So
know.
this morning when I was doing the morning show with my business partner Brandon, he had a gentleman outside cutting down a tree with a chainsaw during like half the show. And so we're
Yeah,
trying to
oh,
talk and all you hear is like
yeah. Like what time? It's almost like 9 o'clock in the afternoon. Someone, I don't know what is he doing outside, but
yeah.
yeah. So this song is really about rebirth and starting as a new version of yourself. And we were all going through very difficult times. The girls Fernanda and Luana had very difficult time after getting out of their own nervosa, and they needed a fresh start.
Yeah.
And the same goes for me. I had a very rough time in my previous band, Burning Witches, and I also, even if Crypta was already like existing a year before we left our bands, we were going somehow, we didn't know it, but we were going through very hard times. And this was like Cryptas was like the fresh start that we needed, and
Yeah.
a new version of ourselves. And this can translate in many different stories from everyone goes through difficult times and needs a fresh start. And we sacrifice something that is very close to us. I had to sacrifice my position in Burning Witches just because I didn't feel like it was my fate to stay in this band, because I didn't feel like I was being able to express myself fully creatively. I
Yeah.
needed and this is a reason I don't do music because of popularity. Otherwise, I would have stayed in that band. I do it because I want to fully create, lose myself as a musician, and for that, I don't know if I'm using the right English here, but to be able to express myself fully without having any barriers. And that's what Crypta was like, a saving for me. And I think
Yeah.
for Fernanda and Luana was somehow also in their ways a saving for them. And yeah, this song is a little bit about this metaphor.
No, I love that. The first thing that I thought of when reading over it was a phoenix. You know, the
Yeah,
little
it's
rise
about,
from the ashes. Yeah, that dying, because you do throughout life. People always think, oh, you know what, you live life, you have hard times, you get over it, you continue on, but that's not always what happens. In a sense, anytime that you have a hard time, you have some sort of tragedy that happens in your life, some misfortune. It's an injury. It's an internal injury, and
right.
it's many times a lot of people die before they actually die. They die on the inside. Parts of them die. Personality traits of them die off, and they shed.
Absolutely.
But then they come back as somebody new. They're reborn as this new being
Yeah.
that is so much stronger than who they were before, or sometimes, unfortunately, weaker than who they were before, because they never truly recover.
Yeah,
They
definitely. It leaves a trauma behind. I think
yeah,
everyone, has everyone some kind of way experiences something that leaves a mark, and sometimes we're not even aware of it, and we express that in our own way, and then you're not aware that you're actually reacting because of your trauma. And it's a very difficult thing to explain, but we all go through it. And it's good to be aware about it, about the things that we go through, and the mark that it leaves us. And it's important to fix ourselves,
yeah.
to put importance in the problems that we have had before, and to find a way to not leave that bad feeling forever.
Yeah. Now, do you use music as your therapy or as one of your vices to get rid of any kind of stress or pain that you may have from something traumatic that happened earlier, or just something irritating that's happening to you today? Like, do you use it as an outlet to get things out, or do you
Yeah,
try to keep your emotions separate from it sometimes?
definitely. Music really makes me feel like a lot better when I'm having a rough day.
Yeah.
I can put on a song or a band that I really like, and it can directly uplift me, like forget the things that I don't want to think about. Or maybe even like playing the guitar is like a very easy way for me. Practicing along, learning a certain song, you somehow focus all your mind into learning that certain song. It makes you forget about things that bother you in reality. It makes you like go away from the things that you don't want to think about. And that has worked for me a lot, very well, when I'm playing. Even though sometimes, of course, it didn't really work well. If I wasn't feeling good in a band about the music or something, then I wasn't really enjoying the process of it, of practicing that certain music. So I think it really depends. But overall, when I'm playing something that I really enjoy, it always makes me feel a lot better. Yeah, and yeah, it's like therapeutic.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, tell me what does Crypta have next? What are some upcoming things that you have going on? New shows? I know you have a lot of shows planned for 2022. Do you plan on doing anything for 2021 or not? Probably not.
Well, we're already planning, and we're definitely gonna try to get some stuff, planned on 2020. But it's gonna be a little bit hard with the coronavirus situation. It's of course it's resolving slowly,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure if it's gonna be fast enough to still have like chances to play around in different countries. At least here in the Netherlands, they're already starting to get some concerts. They're limited as for audience, but it's a very good start.
Yeah.
But we cannot expect that from everywhere. And I'm also really waiting to get vaccinated. It's taking a while here, so I hope I can have that soon. Yeah.
So, okay, Sarah, are you doing the one or the two shots?
I'm not sure what they're gonna give me, honestly. I know my father, who's quite a lot older, he got 2 shots.
Nice.
I'm not sure what I'm getting. I have to wait until they give me a notice.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I got the one right now, and the next month I have to go back in and I'll get my second dose, and then I'll be all 100% until they tell me that I have to get something else for something else that's out again.
Oh, that's
Well,
great. That's great. You can already walk without the mask outside, right?
outside, yeah. If I go into buildings, I'm supposed to wear it. But then
Oh.
I also when I do go into buildings, like if I'm working, it's usually I'm doing some sort of either like a side work job, so I
Mhm.
don't have to wear it because there's nobody around, or I'm doing DJing where I do karaoke and trivia nights.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I'm up at the DJ booth, I don't have to wear it. If I'm singing or have the microphone, I don't have to wear it. So it's
Right, right.
I have to wear it, but at the same time, there's a lot of like things that make it so I don't have to wear it. So I have it on me just in case I need to like go to the bathroom or something like that,
Right,
because
exactly.
that's when it's contagious in the bathroom.
Cool.
Yeah. So you have a new album coming out.
Yeah, Echoes of the Soul. On the
Yes, Echoes
11th
of the
of
Soul.
June already, which is in 2 days.
Oh my God, it's coming! I didn't realize it was. I didn't realize it was that soon. That was amazing. All right,
Yeah.
what should we expect? What are some of the new sounds you have going on in this? What are some of the influences that went into this album, and then how long is it?
Well, the album is around 50 minutes long.
Yes,
So
love
it
that.
contains 11 songs. They are a hybrid combination of different styles of death metal. In the band, we're all very aficionated with different styles of death metal. Myself, I'm really into like the Polish death metal style, which is a little bit
Yeah.
blackened. Such as like bands like Decapitated, Vader, Hate, Behemoth. They all have a very blackened sound and a lot of
Yes.
fast picking. It's a lot. I really like that. At the same time, I really like the brutal death metal from America. Our drummer Luana, she is really, really into old school Swedish death metal. Fernanda is really into the Florida old school death metal. There's a lot of different styles in death metal.
Yeah.
And Taina is really into the melodic kind of death metal, like Arch Enemy and stuff. So there's definitely like a very hybrid combination of styles that we needed to put on in this album. So there's some songs sound a little bit more melodic, some songs sound a little bit more rhythmically based, more brutal, and you'll definitely hear a lot of different patterns, different sounds, more melodic parts, more brutal parts. There's a lot for everything. And yeah, that's Echoes of the Soul, I guess. That's a little bit of the sound about Crypta. And yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm very excited to hear that. I actually that's awesome. It comes out so soon because I have a road trip that I'm going to be taking. I have a couple coming up. I have one to Columbus, which is 2 hours away from me. So I'll be able to listen to it either on the way there, on the way back, and then I'm going to Vegas in a couple weeks. So I
Wow.
definitely will need, that's going to be like a day and a half drive to get
Wow.
there. So I definitely will need some good tunes while I'm on the way, and make sure
Well,
that you guys are on the playlist so you can keep me up when I'm getting sleepy on the highway after like the
for
15th hour
sure.
of driving. I can
It's
blast you guys.
yeah, it's gonna be on all major platforms, so everyone can listen to it.
Do we have any music videos to look forward to for it?
Well, we have 2 music videos out so far. We
Yeah.
have the music video for "From the Ashes," which we recorded in January this year in Brazil. It shows how the whole theme, the whole theme about "From the Ashes" is visualized in this video.
Yeah.
And then we have "Starvation," which is a more brutal track, and it has its own lyric visualizer on YouTube. And then actually yesterday we released "Dark Night of the Soul," and this has a full band playthrough. Aside of that, we have a lot of playthroughs from all of us, some guitar playthroughs, some bass playthroughs, some drummer playthroughs, all of them also in the Napalm Records YouTube channel.
Awesome.
And that's how you can find us, our videos.
All right, I got one more question for you here. So you are given, money is not an issue. You're given the opportunity. You can play a show anywhere in the world that you want to, and you get 2 bands to be on the main stage with you. They can play it before or after. But where are you playing, and what 2 bands are gonna headline with you in this show?
And also the bands that are there, also the bands that are dead can also perform. No, right? Nah, okay.
No, we're gonna say they're live bands. I want to manifest this. Yeah. I want to manifest this. So I want to put it out there so it's a possibility, in the hopes that one day this actually happens, and then you can say I predicted this with Gavin Kerr on the Between the Notes music podcast.
Well, I do have a very, very big dream that I hope that I ever can play with Kiss. I hope it will ever happen. They are on their last tour, so I'm like,
they're gonna have another last tour in a couple years. Don't worry.
I really hope. I bought my tickets for next year. They're playing in the Netherlands. I'm really hoping there is some kind of magical way that it's gonna happen. And I think as the second option for band, that will be very hard. I have so many bands that I really like. I think probably Motley Crue. I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah.
There's some heavy hitting bands. I like that. And the nice thing about them is that I feel like bands like that, they're going to keep doing a last tour until one of them passes away, in all honesty.
Damn, yeah, it sucks. I think I was born way too late, because now all these bands are like quitting, and I'm here. Give me a chance. I want to.
Yeah.
I want to experience it.
Well, maybe you can play with them. Maybe something happens.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, maybe something happens where like you get to one of their quote unquote last shows, and Gene Simmons he's just sick. He can't come on stage. They're gonna cancel it. You're like, no, I know the parts. I can play it by ear
after it again. Who knows?
There you go. Any last things that you would like to plug in for your YouTube channel, any of your projects, the band, stuff like that you have going on? If you want to advertise your web development, whatever you want to plug in at the very last part here. Yeah.
No, only music stuff right now. Well, the album is coming out with Crypta. Echoes of the Soul is coming out in 2 days on 11th of June, or maybe it's already came out when the interview is published already. It's available for ordering on Napalm Records site, and you can listen it on all major platforms. We have some merchandise on our shop. You can find everything on our social medias with Crypta. Aside of that, I'm in a heavy metal band named Cobra Spell, and we have already an EP release, which is also on all major platforms. It's orderable on our Cobra Spell website. And we are very much working on a full length, which might be released end this year, maybe the next one. And yeah, you can follow me on everywhere as Sonia Anubis, and that's it. I think I give also guitar lessons. I really love giving guitar lessons. So if you want to experience the wonderful joy of guitar playing, then hit me
Oh,
up.
do you do that online?
Huh?
You do that online then, guitar lessons?
Yes, I give lessons to through Skype, and I have a lot of awesome students, and yeah, it's fun.
I might need to sign up for a lesson or two then in that case.
Yeah, so
I
there's nothing better than actually playing along to your favorite songs for sure.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I do need to I need to brush up. I'm really good at acoustic guitar. I need to brush up on some of my electric work, however. So you might be getting an email from me here shortly for
Woo,
some
cool,
times.
cool.
Absolutely. Once again, my name is Gavin Kerr, and this has been Between the Notes. Today we had Sonia Anubis of Crypta. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everybody who is tuned in and watched, and we will see you all next time. Take
Hell
care,
yeah!
guys.
Thank you for having me.